Welcome to Evergreen Speedway's Home Track Heroes on Seattle 11.
It is one of the most fun programs of the entire year here Sunday night. Home Track Heroes, Seattle 11. Caleb Hart and Derek Todoroff in with you. And it is the BECU Figure 8 Nationals. It's one of those ones that you look at the schedule, you circle it big on the calendar, right? Because it is a blast for our Figure 8 drivers.
That it is. It's one of the coolest races you can see here on the West Coast. Figure 8 racing is something special, to be sure. Excited to bring you all the action, Caleb.
All three divisions of Figure 8s will be here. We also got a whole lot of other treats for you. So buckle up, settle down, get ready. This is going to be a good time here on Home Track Heroes tonight. Of course, our program always brought to you by Gene Johnson Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. And without further ado, let's head to the racetrack as we've got Youth Hornets starting our day off. These are the Nelson Motorsports Youth Hornets on racetrack. Your lineup looks like this. Bryson Wingfield is in car number 65. Out of Monroe is Papa Tony Hill, the sponsor on that car. And Kylie Ann Surian, the 67 out of Snohomish, sponsored by James Peak, Honest Transmission.
Row number 2, the 46 is Calvin Dilliver. And on the outside, the number 4 out of Snohomish, Weatherride Roofing Machine of Taylor Thompson.
Our third row is Lila Mashburn. That is the orange and white number 31 from Marysville, sponsored by General Car Wash. Outside of Lila, Clint McCowan is car number 29. Out of Snohomish, sponsor on that car is Complete Auto Repair Service.
The Bellevue native Keegan Mooney drives the number 11, sponsored by Custom Auto Repair Specialists. And the Resch Printing 35 J out of Maltby is Hawk Jenkins.
The final row, back to starters. Alexis Tubbs is in the 23. It's the pink and white 23 out of Monroe, sponsored by DL Enterprises. And the guy, the dominant car in the division this year has been Tanner Bjornson. It's the Misfit Motorsports number 01. Looks like the General Lee out of Arlington. 10 cars. Bjornson is on like a 172 race win streak in the class. So we will roll them off. They're into the throttle pedal. And the green is out on our first race of the BECU Figure 8 Nationals program.
Time for Bjornson to try and maintain that consistency throughout the season. But up front, Wingfield and Surian going to go side by side to start us off. You see how loose Wingfield is up the track and into the 67. Going to allow him to get clear. Move on up here into the first place spot. Surian in pursuit. Mashburn in third. Working through 1 and 2. You see Mashburn looking low on the inside of Surian. Has that preferred line, but not going to close up enough here into the entrance of the corner.
Well, they're on our 5th mile circle track. Only time today that you are going to see this used. And 25 lap A main event for the young men and women in this class. Here's third place changes hands. Mashburn fading back a spot to the 11 of Mooney. Now, they do not keep track of season points in this division. So even though Bjornson is going to have a stranglehold on feature wins, there are no championship points, and all of the drivers are between 12 and 14 years old. It's designed to be the beginner division here at Evergreen Speedway. A chance for these drivers to get into race cars, figure out what's going on. As you see Bjornson and Mashburn battling hard for that spot. Give the spot to Bjornson.
Yeah, a little bit of contact between them, but many of our newer drivers who've come up through the ranks of Evergreen Speedway got their start here in the Youth Hornet class. Drivers like Calvin Miller, who you've seen in the Pro 4 trucks earlier this year, Dakota Wilkinson, Ryan Clark in the Outlaw Figure 8s you'll see later tonight. Haley Constance as well.
Oh, look out.
Late model. Oh, ho, ho. Around
big
goes the 11.
contact. Yeah, Mooney had gotten into Surian. Bjornson gets into Mooney, and now Mooney's going to have a whole lot of work to do. As so far, this has been all Bryson Wingfield out in front of it. Wingfield leads, Surian is second, and give third to Alexis Tubbs at the moment. So Tubbs sitting in the 3 spot with Bjornson 01, and Mashburn's 31 chasing as well. Should also see another move up from our Youth Hornets, Riley Rudell coming up later. We should see him for a lot of laps of Stinger action coming up.
That we should. Stingeray, always quite the chaotic class, and this one has been throughout its history as well. You've seen lots of action. It's a bumpin'. It's always been very interesting to see. You look at the Evergreen Speedway website homepage, up there at the top in that little bar filled with photos. It is a photo finish from this very division between Haley Constance and Dakota Wilkinson.
Check this out. Battle for the lead is going good. Wingfield, who's hunting for number 1, Surian, putting on a really good show to the outside of him. Almost even Steven through the middle of the corners a couple of times. And Surian really taking advantage, swinging the car very wide, making a big circle, and you can see almost at the apex, Kylie Ann getting close to Wingfield. Here's the bad news. The back row is rolling in on them. Tubbs, who started 9th, and Bjornsson, who started 10th. They're 3rd and 4th. And before the halfway mark of this race, they're rolling in on your lead, too, to become a factor.
We talked about it back during the Mark Galloway shootouts. The problem with battling for position is sometimes it can lead to the drivers behind you closing that gap in. It's exactly what Alexis Tubbs has done, as she will skate to the inside of Kylie Ann Surian. Tanner Bjornsson attempting to follow as Tubbs sets her sights on the driver of the 65. Tubbs into one of the Uke tires with the left front of that 23 car. It's been a death sentence to some. Tubbs looking pretty confident with the car right now, despite that hit.
Got through 1 and 2 quite nicely. Now, Tubbs has been out of action for a few weeks here, so don't know if there's any rust. Maybe that was a portion of her just kind of kissing that tire coming off the corner. As you can see, Bjornsson, ooh, yeah, application of the old chrome horn coming through the corner, but Tubbs unshaken as she looks to stir the pot and find her way around the 65 of Wingfield, who's doing a dynamite job up in front of this. Wingfield's led them all. Tubbs trying to find her way around Bryson Wingfield with the ultra-fast Tanner Bjornsson stacked up back there. And let's see if this is where Bjornsson starts swinging way wide on this field.
Looks like he's swinging perhaps for the back bumper, but further back, you see the lapped car, the 11 of Mooney, under pressure from the 35J of Hawk Jenkins. And unfortunately, after 15 laps, it looks like down the backstretch, Wingfield will lose the lead to the 23. Alexis Tubbs will take the lead here on lap number 16 with 9 to go.
That was really good timing for Tubbs. She needed to make the move forward or get in danger of having Bjornsson just kind of loop the outside while she followed Wingfield around. So Tubbs has got the top spot. Now Bjornsson will get around Wingfield as the race for third getting more intense. Up front, Tubbs in 23, Bjornsson in 0-1 with 8 to go, a potential first-time winner, and Bjornsson looking to, pile another trophy up in a trophy room that's starting to get awfully full.
Yeah, it would be real special to have another first-time winner. It's what this class is for. Give you those opportunities. Perhaps problems for Bjornsson down the front stretch as Wingfield is closed close in. Also here, the 11 of Keegan Mooney, who is down a couple laps following that spin earlier on in the race. Wingfield going to slide up the track. Mooney looking low, trying to get on by.
This is going to be important for the lead, too, as they're coming up to the back of Calvin Delaverne. How Tubbs handles Delaverne is going to be a big story here as Wingfield, your third-place car, cedes a spot to Mooney. Now, Mooney is still a couple of laps down, so he's got to figure out his way forward. It is still Wingfield in third, but Mooney on the move, and here's the battle for the lead. Bjornsson had the nose on Tubbs down the back straightaway. Alexis gets it down to defend. 4 to go, and the race for the lead is on.
She's keeping her composure. Whoa, Delaverne. Some contact between him and what appeared to be the 11 of Mooney as he'll go way up the track. Bjornsson, meanwhile, trying to go for his tri-oval approach. It's worked so well this season, but he's not closing in on the 23 that time by. Tubbs leading another with 3 to go for the pink 23.
Alexis is doing a fabulous job out in front of this field as she has 3 car lengths on Bjornsson as we get into the nitty-gritty here. As you look at third and fourth and behind, I think that's the Jenkins car coming up on the back of Wingfield for that spot. So Wingfield looking to hold on to a podium. Meanwhile, we're coming to the white flag the next time around, and we could have a first-time winner here, Derek.
We very well could. You see the 23 come across the line one more time around for Alexis Tubbs here in the Youth Hornet class. Just 1/5 of a mile in between her and that start-finish line. Moving into 3, keeping her composure out of 4. Doesn't matter, she hit the Uke tire. It's checkered flag flying. Alexis Tubbs, your race winner. Tanner Bjornsson in second. Wingfield comes across the line in third, holding off Jenkins, as we will head on down to the Angel of the Winds podium to speak with your top 3.
Bryson, you were out front for a lot of that, looking in your rearview mirror, and there was just chaos unfolding behind you. What are you thinking during those moments?
Well, I saw that Tanner was coming up, and I was trying to hold off Kylie, but I noticed that it was sliding, but I was like, oh, well, I might lose my position. But then I saw Keegan, and I was not knowing what was happening. So the 23, she passed me, and so I was like, okay, I'll just hold up second. And then all of a sudden Tanner comes in. I'm like, okay, I'll just hold up my line because I thought it was in fourth. But then I checked the leaderboard, but I'm like, okay, I'll take third. But yeah.
Seems like you had a very exciting race out there over the course of the night. What are your plans for after the Youth Hornet Division?
I'm planning on doing Hornets.
Just Hornets for the driver of the 65. Who helps to get out here and put on this show?
My family, my papa, my mom, my sister, everybody who got me out here. I would like to sponsor the High Friday Band, my Uncle Alan, and just everybody who brought me here out tonight.
Driver the number 65, third place tonight. That's Bryson Wingfield. All right, Tanner, that was an interesting race. You were going back and forth, weaving your way through in that 0-1 machine. What more do you think you needed to get to first?
Probably the motor not to overheat.
Generally pretty helpful. Now, it's been a pretty good season for you. Got to wonder, where do you go once this is all said and done?
After Youth Hornets, I'm moving up to the big guys or big boys, Hornets.
All righty, another driver moving up into the Hornets from this class. Who would you like to thank for getting that 0-1 out here tonight?
My mom, my dad, my grandma, my brother, my stepmom, Whiteside Steel, Stilly Auto Parts, Tire Pros of Arlington, Olympic Embroidery, Bees Fab and Tuning, everyone that came out here today to watch, and my YouTube channel, Misfit Motorsports.
Driver the 0-1, Tanner Bjornson, second place tonight. We're going to flash back to when you were running in that third place spot, coming out of turn number 4. You made contact with the Uke tire on the inside. Was there any moment of panic for you?
Yeah, I was scared I was going to spin out, but I took my foot to the floor.
Hey, you kept your composure and it got you the win. When you're racing in this Youth Hornet class, what's going through your mind battling with drivers like Tanner who've been dominant this season?
Just get around him and hope I can stay in front.
Pretty solid philosophy. Do you have any plans after this class?
Hopefully regular Hornets and maybe mini stocks.
There you go. Looking to the mini stock division. Hope to see you there. Who are the people who'd help you get there?
DL Enterprises, my mom, my dad, my grandma, my grandpa, and Flager John.
Driver of the number 23, your race winner in the Youth Hornet class, Alexis Tubbs.
I don't think we gave Alexis enough trophies, flags, boards to hold there. What do you think? Yeah, it's a thing. All right, we move on. We've got 26 PRCBD Hornets coming up to run here. And they're going to be running a fun course as well. Let's give you their lineup. Preston Brandt's on the pole, the world's tallest Hornet driver out of Marysville in the North County Towing number 32. Brian McNamara's 101 out of Snohomish, and the True Line Wheel and Frame Machine out of Seattle.
Butch, Steve, and Zach helped get the 86 of David Dixon from Arlington to Evergreen Speedway. The Misfit Motorsports number 59 also at Arlington is Tegan Bjornson.
Third row, William Jansen's from Edmonds. He's in the 118. Next to him, Zachary Dixon in car number 67.
Patrick Russell drives the number 69, hailing from Lake Stevens and the Tree Service of Crops Removal. Out of Arlington, the number 5 is Carly Gosler.
Row number 5, Joseph Villarreal out of San Marcos, Texas. That's the 029. Outside of him, it's the 45 of Trinity Reppin from Snohomish. Snoqualmie Casino sponsors her.
Out of Salem, Oregon, the 024 is Donna Gillespie. Alongside her, the handy in the valley, number 15 out of Snohomish, Matt Snyder.
Row following them, Bobby Houck, the 08, and the 03 of Lucas House and Fluck from Lake Stevens, sponsored by Cornerstone Homes.
And the number 30, sponsored by Olympia Pizza out of Arlington, is Pat Folger. The Valley Asphalt 17S is Gino Solomon out of North Bend.
Michael Turner's 022 from Salem, Oregon. The 717 of Diesel Snyder from Cle Elum, sponsored by Valley Asphalt.
The 19 is Scarlett Fisher out of Marysville. 25, Stephen Dodson out of Arlington, sponsored by Homeland Security.
And the very fast Christian Miller in the 77 from Everett. The Turbo Espresso car. Dustin Lytle, the 21L from Marysville, sponsored by Gutter Installer.
Zach Bristol in the 1, sponsored by Hibbs Automotive out of Snohomish. Dan Miller in 00 out of Everett, sponsored by Exterior Wall Systems. Green in the air.
Back rows, the 025 of Alex Gernsom and Bill Bleem's 16CB as we're underway.
And with that, Brian McNamara leads us here. We are on the regular road course, the same course that they qualify and practice on. And so, no setup changes if you're any of the drivers in this one. 101 of McNamara out to the early lead as we're 3 wide for a split second there for third. Drivers all fanning out, figuring out their roles in all of this. The 101 of McNamara, 32 of Brandt, and it appears to be the 86 of David Dixon, your top 3.
Why does it feel like it's been a million years since we ran the regular road course here for the Hornets?
We've tried a variety of different ones, haven't seen repeats, despite the fact it has been quite a while.
Can somebody please buy Donna Gillespie some gloves as we take a look at the Brandy Hood Promotions in-car camera as Donna cruising around the 024 looking to make some moves. As you can see, she rolls her way through the course, a little downshift there in through the weight exchange portion of the course. She'll make her loop onto the back straightaway, and you'll see her grabbing for gear right out of that corner so she can roll down the back chute with maximum momentum. So look at the in-car work there from Gillespie as we've got position change going on the left-hand side of the screen. Bobby Halk moving forward quite easily.
And he is. And we watched Donna Gillespie get to the inside of the 32 of Preston Brandt and the 69 of Patrick Russell. Sights now on Zachary Dixon. And then David Dixon, Brian McNamara still out front. Brandt unfortunately falling through the field. Here comes Matt Snyder in the number 15.
So Snyder, who has been off and on having a pretty good season here, starting to roll in on that battle. Left-hand side is your leader from multiple different angles. Brian McNamara's 1:01, 4 laps into this 30-lap feature. And in car with Donna Gillespie, who is sitting outside top 3, at least for the time being. She sits in 5th on our ticker as you see it, continuing to battle forward.
Well, most notably about the number 15, we mentioned Matt Snyder's had a pretty good year. He is one of 3 of the Snyder family in this season. He's the only one not to win so far in this season. Diesel Snyder picking up the win earlier. His first ever. Gino Solomon picking up the win week number 2. So is it Matt's turn?
I might be feeling a little left out at this point in time as there's Bjornsson in the 59 and the 67 of Dixon doing battle up front near the top of this field. Top 4 kind of collected all together. As you see the 101 of McNamara, David Dixon, Zachary Dixon, and Tegan Bjornsson right now occupying your first 4 spots. As they loop down the back straight away, 1/5 of the way into this race.
Yeah, you see Donna Gillespie, Matt Snyder coming quick. They're hunting for opportunity as it's Dixon's right now warring for second. If you're McNamara, you love to see that. We've talked about it multiple times. When you're battling for position, slows you just a little bit down. Advantage to McNamara for now as those two continue to go back and forth. Bjornsson and Gillespie round out your top 5. They are looking for position. Matt Snyder all over the back bumper of the 024, waiting for a chance.
Meanwhile, it's Zach Dixon looking to the inside of David Dixon for position, and David swims her too wide off the corner, so give it to Zach, and Zach is going to be able to pick up that spot without having to break momentum. Now let's see if he can close up on McNamara. As the family doing battle for second, you can see him. Big correction on the steering wheel, and that allows David Dixon back to the inside of Zach as they battle for second. Although Zach's got superior momentum coming off the high groove, he'll hold the spot.
Yeah, advantage to the 67 for now. 86 still running in third, but look how loose he's getting through that corner. And you can just see visually how much the 59 of Bjornsson closed up at that moment. Battle for 5th at the tail of your screen. 15 of Snyder going to the inside of the 024 of Gillespie. McNamara, though, under pressure. This is for the race lead. Zachary Dixon can get a similar run to what we saw last time, which he will. He will go to the lead.
Shooting the low side is Dixon. Picks up the top spot coming off the corner. So Dixon now 10 laps in, 20 to go, has the race lead, and we're yet to really see the ultra fast guys from the back of the field crack into that top 5. We've got some guys that are moving, but yet to find those top end quick qualifiers making their way through, as we're going to have cars together in and around, and that's the 029, I believe.
That's the 022 of Turner, 5 of Gosler, and the 717 of Diesel Snyder. But speaking of Snyder's, up into third, onto the podium spot now. Matt Snyder entering the picture.
So Matt Snyder hustling forward. He's after McNamara, as McNamara holding on to second right now. Down the back straightaway, Snyder on the hunt. Let's see if he can find a path past him. And up into competition for the lead position. There he is, ducking to the inside, off the 4th corner and into the weight exchange section. We need to take a time out. We have got more PRCBD Hornet main event coming up next, as you are tuned to Home Track Heroes here on Seattle 11 from Evergreen Speedway. Welcome back here to Home Track Heroes on Seattle 11. You are in the PRCBD Hornet main event, and we have got a battle for the lead jumping into turn number 3. Zach Dixon is going way up to the top shelf here through the corner. Matt Snyder, right place, right time. He's going to take that lead from him with 13 laps to go as we come back from break.
Yeah, makes the right move, plays the cards just right, and uses the lapped car of Preston Brent as a pick to the lead. The 15 of Matt Snyder trying to become the third and final member of the Snyder clan to win this season. But Zachary Dixon not about to let him get away so easily. Throws it in there, but going to wash up the track as a consequence of that.
Yeah, couldn't hold the bottom of the racetrack in 3 and 4 quite as well as he would like to. That allows Snyder to get away as they roll through the middle of the track. The left-hand turn off the corner, right hand, and then the big sharp left to get onto the back straightaway. So Snyder leading and establishing and opening it up as we've got racing further back in the pack. Scarlett Fisher's 19, one of the cars you see, and the 77 of Christian Miller on the move, bringing Steven Dodson with him in the 25. Caution out.
Caution in the air. You see the 025 pulling off.
Alex Gernsum is the 025. The 022 being driven by Michael Turner. So take a break, regather. He's Derek Todoroff. I'm Caleb Hart, and we're just over midway through the PRCBD Hornet main event. Our program brought to you by Gene Johnson, Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. The BECU Figure 8 Nationals night here on Home Track Heroes. 12 to go, and Snyder brings us to restart with Dixon next to him.
Yeah, the stacks of the field back up. Snyder and Dixon had built quite a large gap to the rest. However, that is all gone. Matt Snyder still leaping out to the early lead, clearing Dixon and Gillespie, who's moved up into the third place spot. Battle for fourth. A little bit of contact might open the door for Scarlett Fisher to go on the inside. It will. Fisher past McNamara and by Russell. Dodson coming in pursuit.
Nice move there by both Fisher and Dodson to work their way up and through the pack. Gillespie's been running in the top 5 all race long. She's going to be strong here towards the tail end as those drivers are going to have to try to move their way through our huge 26-car field tonight for the PRCBD Hornet A main event. As you look at the drivers rolling their way through and onto the back straightaway, Miller aiming for another position as we take a look at your top 2. Battling here in the PRCBD Hornets, there's Fisher gunning for third off the inside of turn number 4. Wheel to wheel with Gillespie. She's going to have it. Swing by PRCBD in Arlington for all your CBD questions or needs for people, pets, and more. Go to PRCBD.com and use promo code RACE.
Steven Dodson made his way underneath the 024 of Gillespie the exact same way that Fisher did. Now Miller trying it in that corner. Around goes Miller after contact between him and the 024. And whoa, around goes the 45 of Trinity Reppin.
Doesn't take much to get these cars sideways depending on what the speeds are. So we stay clean and green in that exchange. So Miller's going to lose a bunch of spots. And now the caution comes out as Reppin slow to get back up to speed.
Debris.
Debris coming out the corner. Let's get a look at it and see this one more time. There's Trinity spinning through. Now, you thought she had her fired back up. And pop goes the weasel. There goes the rear bumper cover.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if that's the rear bumper cover or something else. Certainly was metal. Otherwise, we likely would not have thrown the caution flag there.
So Reppin's going to go to the back. I would have assumed precaution. They'll get it cleaned up. And we will double them up with 9 to go here. Dixon going to get another shot. Now it is Fisher. And Dodson sitting in that second row. Good position for them.
Oh, don't count out outside of row number 3. Zach Bristol lying in wait for an opportunity. Green is back out. And Matt Snyder with a great jump once again will lead him here into the first corner. Dodson, we ride along with him on the right side of your screen. Looking ahead at Zachary Dixon and the 19 of Scarlett Fisher as we settle in our top 5.
It's going to be a fascinating viewpoint from Dodson here on the right side. We'll watch him as he had settled into 4th. That's Dixon in 3rd, the black and green car directly ahead of him. So they make it's not a super sharp left, but it's sharp enough, and you're carrying a lot of speed coming off that corner. Then the subtle right, then the big button hook left coming around the corner. And how well you take that left almost always dictates your straightaway speed.
Well, Dodson took that left pretty well then as he makes his way by Zach Dixon.
And he will do so. You see Dodson moving into 3rd And we'll watch from his camera view what he can do to run down Scarlett Fisher. Here's the right, and here is the tough left. You get through this portion right here with momentum, and you can make a good back straightaway and carry a lot into 3 and 4. Dodson trying to do just that and trying to run down Scarlett Fisher, who's having a career best run in second at the moment.
Yeah, she's never podiumed before, to my knowledge. She's been running this Hornet class for a while now. And number 19 has been growing more and more competitive as the years go on. Right now she's trying to demonstrate just how good she is. Get by the 15 of Matt Snyder while holding off the 25 of Stephen Dodson. Battle for fourth, also pretty interesting between Zach Dixon and Zach Bristol.
Battle of the Zacks for a top 5 spot here in this main event. Not a whole lot of time left though, as this time by 5 to go. And yeah, Snyder's not going to have this easy out in front of the field, as Fisher right there on him. And Dodson getting close. Dodson is a feature winner on the year in his own right. So we'll see how this all shakes out. But you can see Scarlett Fisher bobbing and weaving. She's looking left. She's looking right, high, low, you name it. Almost to the point where she's gathering the kitchen sink together, getting ready to toss it at him. But right now, it is Snyder holding her off.
You're getting a great view here from Stephen Dodson's in-car camera on just how Snyder holds on to each line. He's careful. He's not throwing these massive blocks spanning the entire track. He's just placing the car in the right place to take away a line, force Scarlett out of a preferred groove, and instead use it for himself as he comes across the line once again. Fisher and Dodson still in pursuit. Bristol there, edge of the screen on the left side. He might have a chance for a podium and to threaten for the win.
Dodson swung wide off that corner, and actually if been able to keep his speed up, would have had a run on Fisher coming through the turn. He'll barrel in on her. Fisher's got a line coming off underneath of Snyder through the 4th turn, but couldn't quite put the car there and make the pass. Here's Dodson shooting the outside in the subtle right-hander. Now to the left-hander is Dodson pressuring Fisher, and Snyder getting away from Fisher out of turn 2 that time. That's big.
Exactly. It's that whole deal we keep revisiting. Two cars get alongside one another. It takes speed away from both. Let someone close in or get away. In this case, the white flag will wave for the number 15, Matt Snyder, as one more trip around the road course.
This could be huge. 3 different family members in one season picking up feature wins in one division at Evergreen Speedway. Grandpa, dad, grandson all trying to work their way through, as it is not decided. Snyder close. Here's Dodson. Big ol' send here at the end, trying to roll up as we come to the checkered and give the win to Matt Snyder. Well done. At the line, photo finish. Transponder loop says Dodson. Eyeballs, I thought they said Fisher, but hey, eyeballs lie. Either way, let's get all 3 of them down to the podium to celebrate with Matt Snyder, Stephen Dodson, and Scarlett Fisher down for the PRCBD Hornets at the Angel of the Winds Casino Resort podium.
Stephen, tough battle. You had Zach behind you, and you were attacking the front. Walk me through that race, a couple cautions, through the works in that.
Yeah, it was just a lot of traffic to make my way through. Congratulations to Scarlett and to Mr. Matt Snyder over there. They drove their butts off to keep me behind them. So, yeah, it's all about those 2 right now.
And who do you want to thank for helping you get back up here?
Yeah, first and foremost, my wife, Kimberly. She's absolutely amazing. My best friend, Damon Claiborne. All the guys with Hornets and S Racing, everybody that helps me out, Hibbs Racing. And all the fans here that paid for a ticket to come and watch us race. Hope we put on a good show for y'all.
Perfect. 3rd place tonight, Stephen Dodson. Scarlett, quite the race tonight, defending from Stephen coming hard right at the line. How good does it feel to be up here on 2nd, and how did you do it?
It feels amazing. I've been working so hard for this. I've been out here for 5 seasons, and this is my first podium. It's great.
First podium, you had to play defense for a lot of that race. How hard is it to defend from a driver like Stephen?
It was hard. I feel kind of bad, but it's okay. It's okay.
And who do you want to thank for helping you get up here tonight?
I want to thank Full Throttle Graphics and everyone in our pit, especially my dad.
Let's give it up for 2nd place, Scarlett Fisher. All right, well, Matt, after last week when we talked, you said that everything that could have gone wrong did, but now the following week you were on the top step of the podium. Walk me through rebounding from a week like last.
Nothing broke, really. That's what it comes down to, nothing broke.
And you played a lot of defense. Hard race with that 15, you were defending from some fast cars behind you. How was that?
Well, I figured if I can get out in front, they would have a hard time catching me, so that's exactly what I did.
And who do you want to thank for helping get up here tonight?
Valley Asphalt, Hand in the Valley, Falls Compounding Pharmacy, Harry Inc., Snowfalls Credit Union, the bus drivers, SC, and then my group in the pits. We wouldn't be here without them, and then the fans. Thank you guys for coming.
Let's give it up, race winner, Matt Snyder!
All right, let's move on. First of our BECU Figure 8 Nationals main events up now. Here come the Superstock Figure 8s out and onto the racetrack. They're going 50. There's 19 laps. The division is sponsored by Monroe Grocery Outlet. And on the pole for this one, via random draw, Jeff Talbert got the pole out of Arlington, the Pilchuck Heating 72. Keith Taylor, the Black Thunder Motorsport 52, going to be next to him.
The 68 is Blaine Manning, sponsored by Be Happy Carpet Cleaning out of Marysville. The winner Speed Shop out of Burien, number 66, is Rick Jones.
Row number 3, Chris Southard, the 76S out of Everett, All Solved Plumbing, the sponsor there. Big Bird, Robert Weldon, the 63 out of Arlington, sponsored by All Ply Roofing, LLC.
Captain Chaos drives the number 8 out of Mill Creek. Jacob Funk, he's alongside the Sultan native. The 65 is Tom Sherman, sponsored by Sky River Industries.
Row number 5, Steve Peters returns. He's on the inside, the Papa's Bar in Monroe, 36V next to him. Bruce Wilson, the 95 out of Kent.
The 17X out of Stanwood, sponsored by McCarthy General Contractor, is Rick Yargis. The 88, the Hall of Famer, sponsored by Protocol Plumbing and Sewer out of Bothell, is Doug the Grizz Delfell.
JE55, that spells Jess, out of Marysville. Jessica Wilkinson, Pilchuck Heating and Air Conditioning, sponsors her. Next to Mackenzie Dietz, the 67 out of Monroe, sponsored by BECU.
The Darrington native, the 43, sponsored by Siskiyou Power Equipment, is Sheridan Vincent. Mr. Excitement subs in for Quentin Boris, and Steve Cox drives the Mary's Towing 5.
Aaron Flett, the 98, Kent Collision Center out of Tacoma, the 98 car. Dawson Cox is in the Vincent 45 car. Homegrown Hair Studio sponsors him. Tasha Dunn, 369 out of Sultan in the Painted Raven Farm car. 19,450 and the Figure 8 Nationals title on the line.
And we are green. You see Talbert has jumped to the lead. He's got Manning following him. Captain Chaos spun out there initially through the intersection. Trouble for Jones as he washes up the track, tries to keep control underneath him. Chaos slotting in between first and second. Talbert pulling away to an early lead with Manning in pursuit. Southard and Taylor neck and neck for third.
Now that car unique for Taylor, and we've seen Taylor over the years run a lot of different divisions here at Evergreen Speedway, but dear goodness, there's a lot of that car hanging out the back end. It's almost a danger for the intersection, right?
It's a very different car. It's very distinct, much more reminiscent of the old-fashioned Fear
It looks like
cars.
a Chevelle.
Oh, yeah.
You
It's
know.
a Dodge Dart.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. So out in front, it's going to be Talbert. And again, this is a 50-lapper. Intersection's going to get busy. A lot of what we have seen here. Oh, and there is Smashy to start us off. Dunn into Talbert, your leader in the intersection. And that's going to bring us to a red flag, as already the most dangerous intersection in Washington, the West Coast, heck, maybe even the world, comes into play. Tasha Dunn, there's a look, and bang. Take a timeout and reset. Superstock Figure 8 50-lap main event is on track here on Home Track Heroes. Well, it didn't take long for chaos to ensue here in the Superstock Figure 8 National main event. Monroe Grocery Outlet is the division sponsor here on Home Track Heroes on Seattle 11. Your new leader is Blaine Manning in the 68 car. Manning, the 68, takes us off. I'm Caleb Hart. He's Derek Todoroff. And we are green just like that with a whole bunch of laps left to go.
Manning out to the lead thanks to the Delaware-style restart. Southard follows him quickly. Here comes the 66 for Rick Jones up into third. And the V36, the battle wagon, making his return. Has on his tail an old rival, Mr. Excitement Steve Cox, in pursuit.
Gee, look, Steve Cox has rolled up to the front of a racetrack. Who figured, right?
Who would have guessed?
Who would have guessed, in one of the better cars in the division as well. So Cox up into fourth, already subbing for Quentin Borison, and looking good in the process of doing so. Out in front, we've got 3 laps in. Our program brought to you by Gene Johnson, plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical, as we watch battles further in the field. 6th, 7th on the line as Vincent getting past Taylor for position.
Yeah, I think Funk might have made some contact with the infield tires. Whoa, we saw 3 wide between Taylor, Delfell, and Dawson Cox. It's Funk back underway. Captain Chaos rejoining in front of the leaders. As you see the V36 of Steve Peters, a shot from behind coming from the 5.
Figure 8 racing is physical. We talk about that often, and this race in particular, with originally 19 cars out there, going to be more physical than others, especially given the long period of time as they're already working their way into some slower traffic. And through. Southard in the 76 fights on. He's in second. Jones in third. And now there's Cox in fourth, looking at eyeballing up Rick Jones for third.
Yep. You got the, looks like 63 might be next in line. Yeah, you see Big Bird driving there in the 5th place spot, but Southard has closed to the back of Manning with Jones and Steve Cox coming quick. Oh!
And Blaine Manning hesitated and straight up is out of it. Problems on Manning 68, so your leader now for the 2nd time with problems. 1st time in the intersection, 2nd time mechanical. We'll have our 3rd different leader of this race. 9 laps into it. Now, leader at the line is Jones. Maybe Southard, I don't know. It sure looked like Jones to me, but they're going to say it's Chris. So Southard's got it. Cox on his tail as the lead changes yet again.
Yeah, Southard and... Oh, never mind. Southard goes around. Your race leader spins from the lead. And Steve Cox goes to the point in the 5. Mr. Excitement, new race leader.
5 race leaders in 10 laps, and then he gets way too wide coming through, and he's going to almost park it on the intersection out there. And here is 6 different race leaders in 11 laps as Richard Jones just says, thanks, cool, I'll take it. Y'all can go spinning, no big deal.
Yeah, Rick Jones Jr. is your new race leader. As, whoa, shake up the top 3 quite a bit. Dawson Cox now up into 2nd. Sheridan Vincent running 3rd. He's got the battle wagon behind him and Big Bird after that. Oh, contact there. Lots of beating and banging. Dawson goes up the track a little bit. Perhaps issues for him as well. No, he just falls back in line. Maybe just a bad corner for the driver of the 45.
It's quite the push. Jess Wilkinson leading the pack. Coming in and through. Is Jess on the lead lap or is she a lap down? She may be a lap down at this point. So everybody chasing Rick Jones as Southard coming back to try to get his lap back. And your leader hesitates for a second in the intersection, and here comes the flight of the Valkyries in and behind him.
The field coming in. You see from that shot, a little bit of an angle. Oh, big let up for the 66. Going to result in Dawson throwing it in there. Side by side now in the battle for 2nd. Caution in the air.
So
caution in the air.
Yellow on the racetrack. It's the 68 of Manning who's just been stalled there in the intersection, and Cox up by the wall who has stopped. So let's take a second, catch our breath, and again, we'll see where Manning just parks it, right? Like he is, that car is not running. He'll roll to the inside, and then here shortly thereafter, Cox went sailing off towards turn 1 on the 5/8. We'll watch it right here. Pulls really wide. That car quits turning. He kind of takes a half left-hand corner as if something is wrong. And he's just going to hang out for a little bit. Hey, guys, here I am. That'll be fun.
Yeah, I've gotten word from the crew down there that the 5 might have had an axle problem.
Okay.
That resulted in that incident. Hopefully, we'll see that car back out soon enough.
Caution flag's going to give everybody a chance to breathe for a second. Rick Jones, your leader, but they're stacked up in behind them here at the BECU Figure 8 Nationals for the Monroe Grocery Outlet. Superstock Figure 8s, 6 different leaders in 13 different laps, and coming through the corner, we might be looking at another as the battle wagon pulls even with Peters. Jones, thank you.
Jones and Peters leaning on each other a little bit. You might notice, once again, the top 3 is shaken up. Sheridan Vincent had problems under caution, had a tire cut down. He replaced the tires, gone to the rear. But your race leader right now, the 66, has a bad corner. Here comes the battle wagon. Peters trying to make a difference.
If Peters can carry that outside, he'd be fine, but it's a big push from Jones, and that allows Cox to get his nose in. 14 laps into this.
Dawson with the opportunity, but Jones not cornering well through the right-hander, going to push Dawson real wide.
And that time it's Peters getting all the way through, and Dawson takes 2 for 1, saying, all right, I'm done with this. Bye-bye.
Oh,
Going
Peters
through.
loose now. The battle wagon, a little bit squirrely. See how much the 66 struggles through that corner as we ride along with Dawson Cox on the 45.
There's our 7th different leader now at this point in time in the race, as you can watch from Cox's point of view, trying to hunt down Peters, the veteran. That has been a minute or two since Peters was in the full-sized figure 8 car. However, riding a bike for Steve, he's put tons of laps in on these things. And Steve gets the love tap from Dawson coming through the corner, but keeps his foot in the gas through the intersection and actually builds himself a little bit of a buffer as they drive into the sunshine coming off the left-hand corner. Steve Peters, Dawson Cox, and Rick Jones, your top 3 as we watch this Monroe Grocery Outlet Superstock figure 8 main event. Cox rolling in and looking at a Monroe Grocery Outlet, your locally owned neighborhood grocery store offering name brand products, fresh produce, organics, wine, and more at 40 to 70% less than traditional grocery stores. Shop them first and save. Monroe Grocery Outlet, the proud sponsor of the Superstock figure 8 class.
Dawson, you see, just sticking right there on the bumper as they pass a stopped Jacob Funk. Captain Chaos gets refired, rejoins right alongside that next pack. Your 2 leaders pulling further away from the rest of the group. Dawson right there on the back bumper. You see the old number 30 still plastered to the left rear of the V36. Let up going to give the advantage to Steve for just a little bit. Dawson, though, seems to be the faster car.
Yeah, Dawson's got a good handling rig. You know, of the things we've seen on Dawson, the times that he has gotten out of the lane or out of controls when he was going too fast, I'm going to say, too much application to the throttle. He hasn't had a push yet, you know what I mean? And that's going to be huge for him. If that car can stay 4 tires underneath him, rubber side down, it sure does look like he's got a pretty good handle. Then it's finding opportunity. Now, a veteran like Peters, as it's getting tight in behind Dawson, is not going to give Dawson many chances. He's going to have to be ready to pounce when it shows up.
Well, Dawson may be a pro late model driver, but by no means has no experience behind the wheel of a Superstock figure 8, including previous appearances racing against his dad in this very division. He, son of one of the greatest to ever do it here on the figure 8 course.
Well, we talked about Peters possibly being a little bit rusty in the V8, the full Superstock figure 8s, because it's been since last year since he jumped in the car. Dawson only has 1 race this entire season under his belt. So Dawson has got some rust to shake off into of himself. Now, 50 laps will help do that. As traffic going to be a factor, or it was, until Taylor is out of the way, and now they'll keep going.
Well, here's the difference we've talked about. The V36, Steve Peters has less experience with the V8 under him, but, has raced a figure 8 race a little bit more recently as Rick Jones appears to be stopped there on the infield. While the 45 of Dawson Cox raced the Mark Galloway shootouts, has the experience with the V8 under him, but not on the figure 8.
Now, Peters is not exactly without race experience this year, though, as he has been active in other forms of racing and other circle track events. So Peters is not completely rusty, and you're right, there is Jones, who led a portion of this race, and he is spun out to the inside on the Uke tire here on the left-hand course. Let's get a second look at it.
Oh, looks like just like Southard, he just goes around, and unfortunately, lots of contact there with the Uke tire.
Well, this has been a dynamite battle up in front, the give and take between Peters and Cox, and the old school, old age and treachery versus youth and exuberance coming into play here. It's been fun, and now we double them up Delaware style at the halfway mark of this main event. 25 down, 25 to go. Can Steve Peters hang on?
Oh, green in the air, and we introduce a new player. That's the 88 of Doug Delfell's. Oh, problems for the 17X. Rick Yargis, that right front wheel is pointing at a 90-degree angle.
Oh, bad suspension call on that one. You never want that. So tough for Yargis, who's put so much work into getting the car up, going, and faster. And he was looking forward to this figure 8 nationals pretty significantly. Yes, he is parked there on the inside. As you can see, Dawson Cox really starting to apply the bumper to Steve Peters, and Peters doing a really good job of not letting it bump him out of the groove. Two very distinct battles. Peters the 36 and Cox the 45. And behind him for third, it is the Grizz, Doug Delfell, and Mackenzie Dietz, who's got some big race winning experience under her belt in her 67.
Mackenzie's had a great season so far.
Defending race winner of this.
Yes, defending. Won the 39th Figure 8 Nationals behind the wheel of a Superstock Figure 8. 39 years after her grandfather, Vern, won the first one, the Crazy Cajun.
And opening night feature winner this year as well was Mackenzie. In fact, has a handful of feature wins this year as they're going to loop around and put a lap down. As you're taking a look, it is Steve Peters trying to hold off Dawson Cox, and Cox sneaks the nose to the outside, picks the throttle up. Nice move, Dawson Cox. He's going to pull even in the intersection, coming up on slower traffic, and good timing. Peters able to use the 65 of Tom Sherman as a pick to hold Dawson off, at least for the time being.
At least for the time being the key word. Look at how close he's already got back in. And as Peters drifts wide from his attempt to get by the 65, once more Dawson draws alongside. They're neck and neck through the left-hander with 20 to go. Make that 19 as they come across. Advantage to Dawson when they head into the right. And he is clear.
That is our 8th different leader. If he will lead the lap coming across the line, Dawson Cox here in this 50 lapper, and it sure looks like he's got him clear. Boy, Peters held him off for a really good long time, but that little push in the South Pole did him in. There's Dawson Cox up to the top spot with just a few more laps to go.
Battle now for fourth between Sheridan Vincent and Doug Delfell. Sheridan, as mentioned, went to the rear of the field following that early caution because of a cut tire under that yellow. Now working against the 88, trying to get on by. Sheridan has a very good car underneath him. We've seen him on the podium multiple times. He's just talked about how it's been a little bit too short each time, and I'm sure he would love to make it to victory lane tonight.
Shout out to Robert Weldon, having an excellent race in the 63 as well, sitting back there and challenging for the spot as your leader, Dawson Cox. Ooh, boy, that intersection with 17 to go is not looking super happy. In fact, coming up on some cars that have slowed to try to get through it, and they're too wide coming after the 45 of Cox through that intersection. It's getting dangerous out there.
Yeah, Steve Cox is headed to the pits. Dawson, your race leader, Steve Peters in second, Mackenzie Dietz in third. As Captain Chaos, the 8, has stopped here at the intersection. Hopefully we can see Funk get refired once more.
Just hanging. He's got a good view of the race, right?
Caution in the air.
And all right, so that is for the 8 of Funk. We'll take a look at the replay and how he came to a stop, maybe take the opportunity to get the Argus car out of the middle, and they're off of our custom Evergreen Speedway Telestrator. By the way, Evergreen Speedway Telestrator sponsorships available now. Contact the track office during the week. We'd be happy to. As Funk's going to hang out, and now we will gather this field back together. We're into the final stretch as we're under 20 laps in and to go. Dawson Cox, it felt like it was inevitable that he was going to get by Peters. Now he's got to hang on to it over here the final few laps.
Yeah, and we've seen so much speed from that number 45. Opportunity, though, for drivers like Sheridan Vincent, who now have a run on the inside line. Green is in the air as Dawson jumping out to the lead as expected from the Delaware, but advantage now to Vincent on the inside of Dietz. Working through the right-hander and up from 5th to your 3rd place spot, the 43 of Sheridan Vincent.
There's always chaos on the restarts. It happens inevitably every time. We are going to take a commercial break. We will come back and we will finish off the Monroe Grocery Outlet Superstock Figure 8 National A main event next here on Home Track Heroes on Seattle 11. Home Track Heroes continues on here on Seattle 11 as we are in the Monroe Grocery Outlet Superstock Figure 8 A main event with 7 laps to go. I'm Caleb Hart, he's Derek Todoroff, and of course our program brought to you by Gene Johnson Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. You're looking at 2nd place, Steve Peters with 6 laps to go in the 36. Following him, Sheridan Vincent, the 43, and Mackenzie Dietz in the 67.
You can see the gap between them and race leader. Here he is, Dawson Cox, the Pro Late Model driver, the Busch Light Bandit, trying to pull away, win a Figure 8 national title, the 40th anniversary. To do that in a Superstock Figure 8 would be a huge honor. Jeff Talbert has rejoined us, as has Mr. Excitement Steve Cox in the 72 and 5 respectively.
Repairs made to their race cars out here getting some laps, and picking things up at the very end as we are down to just 3 laps to go. Action all over the track, as you can see, a little intersection for Cox in the 45. And there is second, third, and fourth a long ways back from him. 3 more times around, traffic looms for your remainder of the podium in Funk, Jessica Wilkinson, and more.
Opportunity for the 43. Saw how hard the 36 got into the back of Jessica Wilkinson. Not going to work out this time for Sheridan Vincent. Vincent looking to try and find a way through, but we will jump forward. There it is, white flag. One more trip around the 8 for the 45. Dawson knows he's got a big gap, and he's letting off to not hit anyone.
Yeah, big check up there from Dawson Cox, and it makes a lot of sense to see it as we will come into the final corners for second, third, and fourth. But there he is. One more set of left-hand turns, and Dawson Cox wins the Monroe Grocery Outlet Superstock Figure 8 Nationals. Here for second, in and through. Nice work, Steve Peters. And then Sheridan Vincent ends up on the podium. What a great run for those 3 here at our TCU Figure 8 Nationals. And celebration time for some of the drivers in our top 3. There's Vincent, who's going to smoke him some tires.
Sheridan burning it down in the middle of the intersection. We'll talk to him, Peters, and Dawson, all on the Angel of the Winds podium here in just a moment.
We've met a couple of times here, you and I, and this one was stacked. A field of big names, legends of the sport, people who've won this race countless times. You were racing in the thick of it for the entire race, had to battle your way through. What was this one like?
It was nuts. I mean, I was just trying to stay calm and drive, but I mean, when you have a guy cut your tire down under caution, kind of seemed like it was on purpose to run you into a tire. You kind of get frustrated, so you come back out with a plan, and I hope he comes back out some more this year because I got some more for him.
All right. That 43, right in the middle of the battle between you, Mackenzie, and of course Steve in front of you. What more do you think you needed to get by that V36?
If I could get some tires that were from this year would be great. All the stuff I run is used stuff or takeoffs from other people, the stuff they don't want anymore. So if I had some good tires on that, I'd like to see what it could do.
You had a great run, all things considered. Who helped you do it?
Let's see. Thanks to Tommy Gap for selling me the car. Siskin Power Equipment, Annie M's Dog Spa, West Weld, my wife for number 1. I mean, I should have mentioned her first. I screwed up on that one, sorry. But my wife for letting us do this. Thanks to Dawson for coming and running for my kid because he was sick. So great night.
Driver the number 43, third place tonight, it's Sheridan Vincent. Steve, in the past week, I have watched you run 5 different main events. A mini bump to pass, a boat race, a modified main at Skagit, a Hornet main at Skagit, now a Superstock Figure 8 race. What is the endurance level of taking 5 main events in just 7 days?
Being 63 doesn't make it easy. I don't know if you noticed, I had a cool suit with ice in my box. Kind of puts a little ice in my veins to keep up with these 17 and 18 and however old, but this is a challenge, always a challenge for the National. I was hoping to get my 5th tonight in 30 years, but somebody got their first, and it's his birthday. Couldn't even be better, and I love watching people win because I've done it.
A great showing in the V36, to be sure. It's your first time in a Superstock Figure 8 this year. What goes through your mind as you make the switch from dirt last week to now asphalt this week?
That if I can drive on the dirt sideways, 80, 90 going into the corners, then I can do some figure eighting because it's just an intersection. The rest of it, 2 little circles you drive and 100 trips through the intersection tonight, and we made it.
You did indeed. Who would you like to thank for getting that V36 here to second?
First and foremost, I got to thank the car owner, Bill, for letting me take a ride today in the hassle-free loaner. Bill Fleischacker, car owner. I'm just the driver for today. We'll be running the 60 Minutes of Fear at the end of the year, and that's my 2nd ride this year with Bill. And the rest of it, I got to thank Jesus Christ for saving this guy 10 years ago. I'm telling you, it was the best thing in my life. ever. And I want to thank the Rock Church, Jeff Knight. I want to say hello to my son Sean up in heaven, because of him, I run this V8 number, and I do it because I love this sport, and I love all these people, and I love you fans. Thank you.
Driver of the V36, give it up for Steve Peters. Well, that was something. I watched you dart in and out of the intersection, treating it like it was the speedrome, and you had every lane in the world. What gives you the confidence step in this thing for the first time in forever and chase down and win it?
Well, now that I can say that the race is over and the car is not total, I'm just not a very smart guy. There wasn't a lot of thought process. It was just bring the car back in one piece for Chevy. I don't want to screw him out of the rest of the year. I really appreciate the opportunity. It was a good car, and I just kind of made every move that came to mind. And there was a few that were not my smartest, and there were some that worked out really good. So it was a cool race. Huge shout out to John for letting me get those 3 spots back so I didn't get a black flag. Appreciate it. Thank you. And Chevy and Sheridan Vincent for letting me run it. It was an awesome ride, and then he's going to take over.
Now you will go from the 8 this weekend. Next weekend you tackle the 5/8, the big oval. You ready for it?
No, I'm never ready. But we'll see. I'm almost got the car together, so that's a plus. What were your sponsors? You got this.
I'd like to thank my sponsors, Anti-M's Dog Spa and Homegrown Hair Salon. And I'd like to thank Dawson for running the crap out of my car and showing me the potential in it.
Your race winner tonight, the driver of the 45, Dawson Cox.
That was an action-packed race. Again, 8 different leaders, over 50 laps of the Superstocks. And now we move on. Buzz Inn Steakhouse Stinger 8 time. They go 50. They've got 21 cars. And your lineup looks like this.
They are led by the 73 of Derek Myers out of Arlington, sponsored by LRA Landscaping, and the 85 out of Monroe, sponsored by Resch Printing of Hunter Jenkins.
The second row is the 8 of Justin Bliss and the 78 of Kyle Shukar.
The 43 out of Snohomish, sponsored by Abendroth Equine, developing the horse and rider, is Damon Claiborne. The 21 out of Monroe, sponsored by Airport Welding and Muffler, is Matt Somerville.
Fourth row is Cody Walden. The 151 out of Arlington, sponsored by All Ply Roofing LLC. And the 32 of Preston Brand out of Marysville, sponsored by North County Towing.
The 07, sponsored by Hibbs Automotive out of Snohomish, is Zach Bristol. He's alongside the 16X of Bill Bleem.
Row behind them, Ryan Hausenfluck, the 33 out of Lake Stevens, and Bryce Kolar, the Knack Construction, number 23.
Out of Snohomish, the number 86 is Ben Michelle, making his debut. The Edwards K&S Construction 03 out of Lake Stevens is Lucas Hausenfluck.
Row behind them, 46 of Mike Hathaway from Marysville, repping Welding and Rail, and the 20 of Riley Riddell from Gold Bar, the DL Enterprises car.
Jim Putton, and he drives the number 41 out of Monroe. The 102 is Randy Moffitt out of Everett, sponsored by B&R Drywall.
195, Devin Jenkins from Maltby, PNW Traffic Control. 16, Peyton Hopp out of Monroe, sponsored by Bardall. And the 33X is Kent Brooks. Green for 50, the Buzz Inn Steakhouse Stinger 8.
And immediately we're sliding every which way up front. Myers has the low shot, going to be blocked here as to the racing lead goes the number 85, Hunter Jenkins. Caleb, I dare you to keep track of leaders on this one because you were last time in this race. Sure to be a more chaotic one with even more drivers.
One. It's easy. 1
2
so far. No, it's only a lead lap when you actually get across the transponder loop in the order.
Well.
So
you're only counting lead laps as your leaders.
All that, so that's how lap leading works. You can be in front, but if you don't complete the lap, you never lead it.
Whoa,
Look out, Cody
151.
Weldon. Love tap coming into the tire as we will see caution flag. Now Myers came across, led that, right? So there's two. 2 leaders, 2 laps. That's a good ratio. If we get 50 different leaders in 50 laps, we do it, although we only have
only 21 cars.
21 cars. So we'll gather them back up and ready to go. And, of course, we got to say a big thank you to the Buzz Inn Steakhouse. I mean, hand-cut Angus steaks, breakfast all day, mouth-watering burgers. Visit one of their 13 locations, Buzz Inn Steakhouse, proud sponsor of the Stinger 8 class. Now, up front, it is Jenkins. We rolled the ticker back. So, 1 lap. 1 leader.
1 lap, 1 leader.
1 lap, 1 leader.
Keep the same ratio until they cross the line once more. Myers battling with Shukar, though. As you all see Somerville and Claiborne coming quickly. Lots of speed from everyone all of the time. Look at how close they're cutting to that Uke tire. We saw that beautiful view during our 4th of July show. Fortunately, a bus ended the career of that GoPro.
Should remind everybody that starting spots here in these A mains are a random draw. So as opposed to time trials, which usually set your feature lineups, this was all done randomly. So where you started, completely up to fate.
Yeah, the time trials simply decided the order in which you drew. As some very lucky starting up front, others have quite the struggle ahead of them. As see Myers, Shukar, Somerville all hitting the cars in front of them, and it creates a big stack up. Shukar out of sorts. It's going to benefit Somerville for now. He is going to the high side, trying to make his way through. Oh, contact to his right rear, contact to the right rear. Shukar's Claiborne getting impatient.
Last time we saw the Somerville car, it was actually in victory lane, albeit with a different driver. Brandon Lindbergh has taken it, although Somerville has won on the year as well, so that's got to be one of your prohibitive favorites. Look out, Hathaway already around in the intersection, and you can see the hood rumpled up on the Myers car as we're going to get a caution flag.
I think we know what that means. 5 laps into this one. The damage to the 46. Here's the replay, and contact between the 151 and the 46 leads 73, just nabbing Mike Hathaway.
And Weldon wasn't going to lift at all, so coming in and through, we know that about the 151. Chaos ensues, and that's going to bring us all together once again. Up in front is Jenkins. Myers sitting in that second spot no longer with damage. It's the battle of the two white cars, Somerville and Shukar, side by side as they roll back to green.
Yeah, you see Somerville there on the low side. That's where you want to be in these early ones. He makes the move and is clear of the 78. Claiborne attempting to do the same, will not complete it. Never mind. Up into third goes the 43 of Damon Claiborne. Battle for fifth at the edge of your screen between Bleem and Lucas Hausenfluck.
Talk about a comfortable position for Somerville here. He doesn't have to pick his way through the pack. He can just kind of be patient. And behind Jenkins, he's got 44 laps left that he can take to try to pass and make the move here. So Somerville is under absolutely no rush, and knowing that Claiborne behind him will run him relatively clean as well has got to be a pleasing feeling.
Yeah, I think the thing he might be worried about is that car directly in front of him as he gives a bump to the back of the 85 of Jenkins. Jenkins assuredly going to fight for that spot, keeping the nose pinned there as they pass and put a lap on Michelle. Claiborne trying to follow Somerville around. Jenkins, everyone leaning on that chrome horn. As I saw you put up 2 fingers, that is 2 leaders for this one.
Yep, 8 laps in, 2 leaders. Somerville gets by Jenkins, and look at the distance Somerville already putting on. Now that he's made the pass, he can set this pace. He gets to choose how hard he wants to attack the intersection, how much room he wants to put in between himself and the rest of the pack. And you can see Jenkins run in the Claiborne car really hard there to move him forward. Claiborne and Shukar trying to follow into second and third, and they're catching the tail end of that intersection.
Yeah, contact between all 3 of them in that group as we ride along on the right side of your screen with Lucas Hausenfluck. There's a great view of what's happening. Justin Bliss is seeing the number 8 coming to a stop there, waiting for a chance to make his way safely through the intersection. Those 2 words don't often mix.
Shukar gave Jenkins a lot of room getting into that turn. Through the corner, backs out of it. Now he's going to come back and put the love tap on him going through. And nice move, Kyle Shukar, very adept figure-8 racer. He's worked his way up into third now. He'll have to check down Claiborne. Claiborne trying to track down Somerville out in front of this field, but our top 3 is taking a shakeup.
Oh yeah, lots of chaos though throughout the field. Still opportunities await for many a driver. We are 13 laps into this one. Shukar still in third, has pursuit from Jenkins and Bleem as mentioned. While Somerville in control, veering, and he makes contact with Ryan Hausenfluck, your race leader. Contact for Somerville, and Claiborne to the lead. Somerville gets refired.
Think he's going to stay on the lead lap mercifully, but Damon Claiborne, your third race leader in 14 laps now. So Claiborne's got it. Now it's up to Shukar and Jenkins to try to get there. And Claiborne, big check up. Here's Shukar now taking the lead. Claiborne loses 3 spots in the mix. And there is race leader number 4 in 15 laps.
Oh, everyone letting up, trying to make their way through the intersection. You saw lots of safety measures for many of the drivers. We come on through here. And there's smoke coming off the front end of the 151. Caution in the air, smashed hood on Cody Weldon, almost hits the 195 of Devin Jenkins, his way back through. We'll see what happened here. between these three cars. I see Brandt and Hop involved as well, and Weldon pile drives into the back of, I believe, Preston Brandt. Yes, from Hop's view, we see that is Preston Brandt.
Peyton Hop catches the wrong end of that coming through as you'll get the drone shot of the overhead and how it all went down. We'll take a break. Coming back with more Buzz Inn Steakhouse Stinger 8 Figure 8 Nationals next here on Home Track Heroes. Buzz Inn Steakhouse Stinger 8 Figure 8 National main event on track here on Home Track Heroes on Seattle 11. Derek Todoroff, Caleb Hart, and as we pick up the action, they're stacked up 2 by 2 and behind our 4th race leader of the race, Kyle Shukar, bringing us back to green.
As we're underway once again, see the 85, Hunter Jenkins, alongside 16X of Bill Bleem. Everyone trying to find their way around this track right now. The 8, the most dangerous intersection in all the West. Shukar, Jenkins in the battle for third between former race leader Damon Claiborne and Bill Bleem.
Figure 8 Nationals brought to you by BECU. This segment brought to you by BECU. Boeing Employee Credit Union believes in people over profit. BECU, altogether different, a proud sponsor of the mini stock division here at Evergreen Speedway and a proud sponsor of Figure 8 Nationals, which has been a ton of fun so far.
Hunter Jenkins breaks there through the right-hand corner, and I don't mean pushes down on the middle pedal. I mean the car snaps as he goes to the pits. And that leaves Bill Bleem, who has bumpers this time, not quite bumperless Bill Bleem, in second with Damon Claiborne right behind him. Shukar shooting the intersection as we continue on with a very tense Buzz Inn Steakhouse Stinger 8 main event.
Preston Brandt fresh off getting smoked in the rear when we last saw him by Cody Weldon. Still rolling around in the 32 car, but he is a lap down as there is the rapidly recovering 21 of Matt Somerville, who you saw go cattywampus earlier. That should still be a lead lap car as well, making his way back forward and on the field. Just gotta pick your way up and through piece by piece. But the battle you're watching right now is for second between the 16 of Bleem and the 43 of Claiborne.
Yeah, Bleem with the duck riding along on the roof. We jump back here as lapped car is kind of boxing in the tail end of the field. Got the 03 of Hausenfluck, the 102 of Moffitt, the 20 of Riddell, all in that group, all lead lap cars.
Kolar's 23 on the lead lap still, amongst others. The multiple-time feature winner out there. Just as a keep your eye on him guy, right? Because we know he's fast. We know he can climb forward. And there's a lot of laps left. We're 2/5 of the way into this. So 20 in, 30 to go. And Shukar by no means running away and hiding yet. Look out. Bill Bleem. He'll tag one. He'll loop around. Can't see what Bill's doing.
Oh, he gets refired.
Do something. All right, there he
more
goes.
Contact. Michelle goes up the track. Myers nabs Moffitt in the tail.
Hausenfluck got a little piece of it, Lucas version. As we continue on, oh boy, Kyle Shukar, that intersection is now officially went from to scary.
Bleem spins around the 195 and on his never-ending quest to continue making cars bumperless has torn the bumper cover off of the 195.
Oh, and he's cutting straight through. Jenkins is headhunting here. You can see that as he is after the 16. Meanwhile, a little leaning going on between Somerville and Claiborne, who should be second and third.
I think so, as that also might have actually benefited Somerville, as that veer made them dodge the 73 of Myers, who was coming through the intersection at the same time. Shukar still out front.
There he is. Just that white car right in the front of your picture, right? Second, Claiborne. Third, Somerville. Approaching halfway, but not there yet.
As you see, they're all making their way through here. Intersection hot enough to grill a Buzz Inn Steak. They continue rolling on through. JD sees something. You can see him hand on the radio, or flagger there in the infield.
Well, and at the time being, Shukar actually has it easy in the intersection. It's the traffic ahead of him that's a problem. With Jenkins, who says, Derek Myers, you're going around. Looking like a mini bump to pass race there for a second for Jenkins.
Yeah, the 195 sees the black flag, and I think he gets that. He's heading straight to the pit area. He also appears to be missing, I saw on one of our shots, the bumper itself, not just the bumper cover.
Message delivered. That's the team car to Shukar in the 102 of Moffitt, so he's right in front of second and third at the moment, and doing Kyle a big old favor as there goes Somerville, working his way past Claiborne, but Claiborne has the advantageous line getting into the corner, and Moffitt running right in front of Somerville, now coming down and trying to lean on Claiborne. Randy Moffitt does not want to cede this spot, even though I don't believe it's for position. I think Moffitt's been lapped.
It is not. He has been lapped. He was involved in that incident we saw earlier involving Lucas Hausenfluck as well. Myers up the track, and that might be it for him.
That may have been the continuation for him rolling over to a stop and just hanging out for a second.
As now Moffitt and Myers in the way of second and third, Somerville and Claiborne. As your ticker returns to normal, Shukar still out front. Bleem, Michelle, Moffitt, and Hathaway, all obstacles in front of second and third.
Yeah, it might be normal adjacent at this point in time. I think we can safely say Kolar's 23 is in the fourth spot and now looking to come in and play havoc with the 43 of Claiborne. So I haven't seen Kolar involved in anything yet, nor get looped around. So Kolar sitting in the fourth spot, I believe, at the moment. As, boy, it is hairy out there. Somerville got around Funk. Now Claiborne making the right choice. At least the intersection is calmer than what it was for your second and third place cars. But Shukar is taking advantage of this and putting some distance and lapped cars in between him and the second and third place guys.
It's a good move, but calmer is very relative in a business like this when it comes to figure eight racing. We're past the halfway mark, 20 to go. It'll be 19 when Shukar makes it back to the line, and heavy contact.
Oh, Damon.
Claiborne sideways, rejoins right next to Kolar, perhaps contact more there. Bleem and Moffitt still ahead of Matt Somerville, and I think Matt's starting to run out of patience.
You know, Matt now puts the left front to the inside of Moffitt. He might end up physicaling his way through there. It is hot for second place, trying to make his way through slower traffic. He's going to try to get to the inside of Randy, coming into the south pole right as that flashes in front of him.
Oh, he got a shot from behind from Moffitt. That's allowing Kolar and Claiborne to close on in.
And if you're too hot, don't forget our program brought to you by Gene Johnson Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Look at that battle right now. Kolar trying to close in on Somerville. They're all chasing Shukar, though. Driver not even on your screen. He's pulled so far ahead, put lap cars in the way, and as I say that, we go to him trying to put a lap on the 07 of Zach Bristol.
I mean, if we were talking betting favorites coming into this figure eight nationals and the Stingers, Shukar would have been one of those guys who you'd say, yeah, he could have a good run and end up being a podium guy, but I don't think anybody would have thrown their money down on him leading the most laps of this thing as of so far. As again, it is just Harry trying to get through second, third, and fourth right now. Bill Bleem, he of multiple different wheel colors, now being chaotic in front of Kolar in third. And that is Claiborne sitting in behind him, trying to work forward. Claiborne's played nice so far, but you know he wants back into the podium as Kolar gives the love tap to Bleem.
Kolar, I think, also getting frustrated with these slower drivers in front of him, as that's Justin Bliss subbing in the number 8 today. He's slow in front of the 43. Claiborne moves him aside, and Bleem spins the 21. Bleem collected as well. Somerville falls back to fourth behind your drivers of 43 and 23.
It's like a bad 80s song. You spin me right round, baby, as he comes off the corner, facing the wrong way, and we're going to see a caution flag. So Somerville tangled up in that incident, yellow flag out, and let's get a look at how it all went down. And well, from Matt's point of view, here I was just running a race, and then I'm not. Although he keeps her going, only lost the spot in and through to Kolar coming by. Bleem is the one who ends up stalled out and pointing the wrong direction. Let the insanity continue, but that's figure eight racing, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. You know, it's contact heavy. That's the way the sport works. And Lucky Dog going to go to the 07 of Zach Bristol. He's back on the lead lap, which gives us a whopping 6 cars on that lead lap.
And at the same time, they're 6 fast cars, so there they are, packed in your top 5, and everybody else trying to work their way forward. Kyle Schukar's gigantic lead goes bye-bye. Somerville, who's already had to divert once or twice. In and behind him, Kolar, Claiborne. It'll be Rudell and Bristol, your 6 lead lap cars remaining here with 14 to go. And Shukar now getting pressure from Somerville.
Yeah, Somerville has waited a long time. The most important thing that Shukar lost in this whole process was those lapped cars between him and the 21. As he was struggling to pass him, get on through. Now he only has to worry about passing one car. That's the 78 of Shukar. As they work their way through the left-hander, 12 more remain of this once 50-lap race, 38 laps into it.
And yet, Shukar's looking pretty good. That car looks like it's hitting the marks that he wants to get to. He's gotten to the bottom of each of the corners, and he's had plenty of acceleration here. So Shukar, Somerville's got to beat him. Shukar doesn't have to do anything else but hit his marks going forward here.
Yeah, he does have to worry about the intersection still, as there's a little bit of contact between Kolar and Claiborne, perhaps leaning on each other. We've seen everyone do in this race effectively.
Yeah, if you haven't hit something, you're not doing it right. As there's Claiborne hard on back bumper cover of Kolar. And Somerville, to his credit too, using the chrome horn, but he has not pushed Shukar out of the way yet. It's just physical figure eight racing like we're used to here on this short course at Evergreen Speedway for the BECU Figure Eight Nationals.
Well, thanks to Brandy Hood Promotions, we are riding along with Damon Claiborne on the right side of your screen. He gives a shot to Kolar, gonna look underneath. Side by side, maybe a little bit of contact and door slamming. That is for the third place spot. Neck and neck into the right-hand corner. Preferred line to Kolar. But if Claiborne can just keep the nose in there, he'll have a great run heading into the left. Looks like that's exactly what he's going to do. Just take this corner well, and he is through up into third. Final podium spot belongs to Damon Claiborne.
Textbook by Claiborne there. Yeah, you're going to be the outside of one corner, but if you can keep your speed up enough, then you get the inside of the next one. That's what he did, and when he got his shot, took over that final podium position. Intersection starting to get busy, and very quickly, Claiborne closed the gap that was between first and second and himself. Now, he is a car length back of Somerville, and Somerville jumping out of line for a second to take a run on Shukar. Here's Claiborne for second coming through the turn.
Yeah, he puts a little bit of contact to the side of the 21. Looking here on the higher lane against Shukar. Shukar's got two cars to worry about now in the forms of the 21 of Somerville, the 43 of Claiborne. Coming back through the intersection, he has the low lane, gives it up. Shukar still your race leader. Somerville, that battered back bumper, holding on. And so is he to second place. Another pick in the form of Hathaway this time. Driver of the 46 corners much better than Shukar does. They're neck and neck once again. Around goes Hathaway off the front bumper of the 21.
Boy, physical racing. This time, Shukar too hot into the corner. However, Claiborne right there on the inside. Damon Claiborne, 2-for-1 special. Somerville going around at the bumper of Shukar. Let's put Riddell into second.
They're locked together.
All those two hook up in the non-way you don't want to.
Oh, they're
bad timing. They separate. Do they get a caution? And I believe they're exchanging meatloaf recipes as we speak.
Yeah, words being had there for both drivers. They continue forward, though. Perhaps letting bygones be bygones. Who knows? Not likely in the figure eight racing world. Damon Claiborne out front right now. Your race leader in the number 43, trying to make his way forward.
Our fifth race leader here of this one is Shukar. Just dominated the mid portion of that. And we'll watch Shukar on the back here of Somerville. It should be Kolar 2 and Rudell 3 at this point in time, as we're down to 3 laps to go.
2 to go, actually, as Claiborne came across the line that time. He will look to see the white flag. No, contact in the intersection.
Oh, no. And that is going to bunch them up. 2 cars together in the intersection. Peyton Hopp again. What a rough race for him. He's had some bad luck here lately. And that's going to gather them up. We'll see the wreck from Hopp's perspective in the 16. When we come back, the 2 most exciting laps in all of racing, green, white, checkered, for the win, is coming up next here on Home Track Heroes on Seattle 11. Well, as we anticipated, this has been an excellent Buzzin' Steakhouse Stinger 8 main event for the BECU Figure 8 Nationals, and we're down to the gritty conclusion of it. Roll the timer back 3 laps to go here. Claiborne, Kolar, Rudell going after the biggest win of the year.
And you've got Shukar and Somerville because of our rules. Lapped cars go to the back, so they're back in the picture despite that spin, despite the bumper jutting out of the right rear for the 21. He's going to make the pass go back onto the podium. And Somerville up into third, Kolar second, all chasing Claiborne.
Two to go this time. Claiborne has a little advantage over Kolar. Somerville has worked his way back into third. Somerville's got probably the best car. It's hard to argue that he doesn't. It's just figure eight racing, weird things happen. Sometimes it doesn't work out for you as they're going to roll around, left-hand turn, and here's the flagger showing us the white flag one more time around here in this one.
It's going to be it for Damon Claiborne, as it looks like these two are going to hold each other up just too much. Kolar going to fall back to third. Somerville up to second. Shot to the back of Kolar from Riddell. He goes up the track. Checkered waves for the 43. 21 across the line, and the 20 of Riddell gets it at the line.
That's cool. Congratulations. Damon Claiborne gets the win here in the Figure 8 Nationals. What a great W for him. A clean race right where he needed to be when he needed to. Somerville, way to persevere. You know what I mean? That he had a lot go against him in the course of this race. Comes out and ends up taking second. Riley Riddell, we know the talent's there, and there's a third place in the Figure 8 Nationals for him. What a run. Burn it down, Damon. Tires are cheap. You just won a bunch of money, too, winning the Figure 8 Nationals. And let's go trackside to talk to your winner and top three.
That's back-to-back podiums for you, Riley, but this was a scuffle to earn this one. Walk us through those closing laps and specifically that 3-lap shootout.
Lots and lots of chaos. Honestly, my car's got a lot of damage on it. Didn't really handle too good the last half of the race. But in the end, I just knew I had to survive.
You kept your composure and kept your confidence. What is it like in an incident like you had early on with Peyton Hopp, making contact with 32 of Preston Brandt?
In the moment, you're just focusing on, I just need to avoid those cars. But afterwards, I was kind of concerned. I thought the car had a lot more damage than it did. And I didn't know if I was going to be able to finish, but in the end, I was.
And who would you like to thank for getting that 20 car out here tonight?
I got to thank DL Enterprise, Tire Pros of Arlington, Alternative Roof Systems, everybody that helps on the car, Half Cock Guns, John Bender, my dad, everybody else that's helped on the car, everybody that supports me, and pretty much just everybody that's there, you know.
Third place tonight in the number 20, Riley Riddell. Once again, chaotic race. You were out front for a while, and then suddenly they're shuffling around. There's the intersection of constant action. You got second, though, going from fourth back up to that position in just 3 laps. How did you keep your composure and make those moves?
You know what? That's a really good question. I don't think I have the answer to right now.
You've put on a show pretty consistently here, and this race should be enough to put you solidly in the points lead. Hopp and Kolar still chasing you. Any thoughts about that?
Yeah, actually, now that you say that, I can actually answer your first question. A couple of times that I got wrecked, I was pretty upset, and I was just like, oh, it's just over. And then I remembered the bigger picture here. We're running for points, or we're not running for points. So it worked out.
You did a really good job driving that number 21. Who helps you do it?
John Bender Racing, Dave, Riley, all these guys were at the shop this week. I've been a little busy with this little guy. They threw a new clutch in it for me this week. So I wouldn't be out here without them. Riley throwing the bumper on the front and all that. So car ran great, even all destroyed.
Driver the number 21, second place tonight, Matt Somerville. You can now call yourself a Stinger 8 national champion. It was 50 laps, 50 hard-fought laps. There was chaos around you. You made some contact. You spun around a little bit. But here you are. How does it feel to win Stinger 8 Nationals?
It's one of the best feelings in the world, to be honest. I've been running out here for 5 seasons now. And believe it or not, I've been up here on the podium a lot of times. This is my first Stinger win, and it came with Nationals. It doesn't get better than that.
I'm going to invite you to tell a story. There's a Fred Flintstone on the side of your car. What does that represent?
So, Fred Flintstone started out in my dad's car here wearing the 43 shirt. He's the one that got me, into all this madness, figure 8 racing and racing in general. But Fred was given to him by my grandmother, his mom. She carved him handmade, and he used to ride on the top of the car, but get a little worried about him getting crushed if we roll over, so he rides on the inside now. So he's kind of a family heirloom in a sense, and funny enough, this is the first time that Fred has been back in this new car, and we get a win, so maybe Fred's a good omen.
Perhaps he is, but you've got a lot of people back there in the pits helping you get out here. Who would you like to thank for this amazing win?
I want to thank my dad here. He's been supportive of me through everything in my life, and I really appreciate him getting out here and being here for me for these races. It means a lot. My best friend, Steven Dodson, he helped me work on the car and fix the car last weekend. Last time I was out here, I T-boned the 8 car in the intersection, so it was pretty banged up, and the first race back after literally pulling it with trucks and a chain, so I'm pretty happy with the car. Thanks to Christian and Dan Miller with GN Northwest, the whole Hornets Nest crew, my wife, Michelle, she's always supportive of me. My sponsor, Abendroth Equine, who is also my wife. If you're looking for horse or rider training, please look her up. She's amazing. And God, I just thank you to the crowd for being here. And I'm just so glad to do this in front of you guys. Thank you.
He can now call himself a Stingray National winner. Give it up for Damon Claiborne.
Cool trophies this year, too, for our BECU Figure 8 Nationals. Congratulations, Damon, getting to take one of those unique pieces home.
Oh, yeah.
It's the main event time. Derek, here they come. Chain Lake Express Wash Outlaw Figure 8s.
They are led by the number 98 out of Tacoma, sponsored by Kent Collision Center. That's Aaron Flett, who drew the number 1 pill. The Bulldog Haven Northwest number 74, that is Chris Curtis, outside row number 2.
Nick Holton, James Conley make up the second row. Holton, the 71 out of Arlington, the MCA Creations car. Conley, the 81 out of Briar, the Fireplace guy, the Cowboy, John Carlson. Third row.
The Tire Pros of Arlington, 676, hailing from that same city. That is Ricky, the Survivor, Dietz. Alongside him, Bulldog Haven Northwest, number 51, out of Granite Falls, Ryan Clark.
Row number 4, Seth Funden out of Savannah, Washington, sponsored by MGM Designs. He sponsors a car in the field, he drives a car in the field. Outside row number 4 is John Carlson, the 50, sponsored by the Fireplace Guy, Hearth and Home LLC.
The Cobalt Cycles, Granite Falls, number 35, out of Lake Stevens, is Doug Wilkinson. The Central Welding, number 49, that's Don Eslick.
Row behind them, 767, Jamie Corbett out of Arlington, A1 Auto Service Center, and the 25, Dakota Wilkinson out of Lake Stevens, sponsored by Tony V's Garage.
Protocol Plumbing and Sewer, 88 of Doug Delfa, alongside the Gunderson Speed Shop, 83, G of Zach Larson, rolling out of the left-hander, green in the air for the Outlaw Figure 8s.
Doesn't feel like Zach Larson would have, if he didn't have bad luck, he'd have no luck at all this year, you think, drawing the last place run here in this field. But he gets 50 laps to make his way up and through. And, wow, shot out of a cannon, although you would expect that with an Outlaw versus a Superstock Figure 8 on the front row of this.
That was the 71 of Holton, the 50 of the Cowboy, John Carlson, involved in that one. You see the smoke coming off of Cowboy's 50. As Clark clearing right now, past Conley and into second. Cowboy pulling into the infield, and Dietz up into third.
So Dietz already making good progress from where he started as they'll settle in and start putting some laps away. Curtis, Clark, and Dietz, 1, 2, and 3 in the early goings in this one. As this segment brought to you by Chain Lake Express Car Wash for absolutely the best car wash ever. Treat your favorite ride to the brand new Chain Lake Express Wash in Monroe. Express Wash has multiple wash packages designed to meet your budget needs. Manage your Chain Lake Express Wash account easily on the go. Download the app from the App Store or Google Play today.
Well, the 51 of Clark trying to run away from Ricky Dietz, the Survivor in the White Tire Pros car. Running third right now. This is a powerful top 3. Ryan Clark, the least experienced of this group, one of the only drivers ever to win the Figure 8 at Tri-City Raceway. While Chris Curtis, champion here at Evergreen. Ricky Dietz, well, a legend of Outlaw Racing.
So I had a chance to talk to the Dietz crew prior to this one as you're watching the 74 of Curtis coming up and trying to put an early lap, I believe, on Eslick's 49 car. Talking to Dietz, when they bolted on sticker tires for practice session number 1, they immediately shot to the top of the board within the first 3 laps. Said, bring that back in, let's throw practice tires back on. Through the practice tires on, they lost a second of time on their practice tire set and said, okay, cool, we're going to go out and scuff one more time as Larson goes around in the 83 and then sit on the race car because we need to preserve not only the good tire set we have, but the driver. Ricky still only has X amount of stamina, and this is a 50-lapper.
Yeah, I see Donnie Eslick here in the 49 holding up your race leaders. Curtis, who had a massive gap back to Clark and Dietz, has now lost all of that, with Clark in the 51, Dietz in the 676, closing up right to his back bumper, and we are in a bit of a train situation here. So you see Clark trying to drift the car a little bit more, get a run to the inside lane. But the master of all drivers at that is the one sitting right behind him, as Dietz biding his time, waiting for an opportunity, the patient driver.
This has got to be on Curtis. Curtis knows he can't spend too much time waiting around for Donnie Eslick, and there's going to be the move to get him. Curtis wants to dictate pace here. He's going to have to get past that slower car, but Eslick strong enough to keep Curtis from getting around him there, and here comes Clark putting the wheels to him. Clark had a chance, but Curtis will muscle up and get by him going into the South Pole finally.
Well, Eslick involved in that incident at the start of the race that put him near the tail of the field. Gotta wonder how he'd be doing if it weren't for that, as he is holding his own against your race leaders. Riding along on the right side of your screen, Jamie Corbett in the 767. He's right behind Doug Delfell and James Conley. Conley making his first Outlaw figure 8 start, driving that number 81.
One of the guys responsible for getting the figure 8s together and taking them out and, on the road on their off weekends here from Evergreen Speedway. Big deal for him. Big thank you to James for trying to help promote and keep figure 8 racing growing around as Corbett works his way to the inside of the North Pole and looks to have made the pass.
Well, Corbett might not know it yet, but coming quickly behind him are the race leaders. You see how Clark is just trying to find any way to corner better in this 74 right now. Curtis and Dietz, again, just seems to be biding his time. We've seen what the driver of the 676 can do, what he is willing to push the car's limits to. Right now, he seems content to sit here since he's so close to the leader still.
You wonder how long these guys are willing to be gentlemanly like they are now. Clark hasn't really been close enough to bumper up on Curtis a whole lot yet, as they will get underneath Conley and make the pass. But at some point in time, if Clark can get up to the back bumper, how physical is he willing to get with a guy that they share a lot of stuff in between those two race cars in Curtis and Clark? Not just good feelings, but ideas, notes, etc. You name it.
Oh, it's a team. Boney Brothers Racing and that MBQ chassis organization works very closely with one another. As you mentioned, they consider themselves a genuine race team. No different than the ones you'd see in Formula One or in NASCAR. And so you would expect a little bit more patience with your teammates, as the 51 right there on the tail of the 74 has closed the gap thanks to Seth Funden now holding up your race leader.
Now you'll keep your eyes on it. The intersection is getting busy, and that's one place where a lot of this racing can shake loose. We have got to take our final commercial break of the night. Coming up, more Outlaw Figure 8 main event. The Figure 8 Nationals come back next here on Home Track Heroes on Seattle 11. It is the final segment of the night on Home Track Heroes here on Seattle 11. Outlaw Figure 8s on the track, the Chain Lake Express Car Wash. Outlaw Figure 8s and their main event here for the BECU Figure 8 Nationals. We are 19 laps into it. Chris Curtis has been in control, and it's looked like this right in behind him. Ryan Clark's 51 and Ricky Dietz's 676. Now, you expect something to shake loose at some point in time, but this has been what it's been, Derek Todoroff.
Well, there's still a lot of racing left, and they're so close to one another, you gotta wonder if they're confident they can bide their time until later in the race. Look at the chaos unfolding in front of them right now as I say that. Jamie Corbett, Doug Delfell, here goes Ricky the Kid. The survivor, Dietz to the lead, makes the pass in one corner past Clark and Curtis.
One bad decision from Clark and Curtis in one corner. All it took for Dietz to take the lead on this. 21 laps into it. Right place, right time for Ricky. And now they'll follow in with Clark following Dietz, and Curtis, who was your leader, got caught on the far outside of that intersection and now runs third. Crazy how quickly that happened.
Hey, that's the way the cookie crumbles. Them's the breaks, as Ben would say. As in this race, this style of this course, everything, it all comes down to positioning your car and momentum. If you can't carry those two things, don't know how to do either of them, you can't make it in the figure eight world. Ricky, one of the best at both.
Ricky trying to get underneath Fundin to put him a lap down. Home Track Heroes brought to you by Gene Johnson. Plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical. The name you can trust since 1976 for quality service and peace of mind. Visit them today at GeneJohnsonServices.com. As they say, we're on it. It is Dietz in the 676. Fundin's 40 chasing Larson's 83. And Larson trying to get up and past. Is that Wilkinson up in front of him? Is that Kimmy Wilkinson up in front?
Where is that? 35 is Doug Wilkinson
Doug
tonight.
Wilkinson tonight. So trying to get past Doug Wilkinson, and it's got your lead three just kind of bunched up and making laps, and smart. You know, Ricky Dietz of 20 years ago might be trying something weird right about now. Ricky Dietz of today just content to ride around, at least for the time being.
Well, you bring up the history of Ricky and this track. It's almost impossible to say anything about that without mentioning 40 years ago, the first Figure 8 Nationals was held here at Evergreen Speedway. The winner of it, Ricky's father, Vern, the Crazy Cajun, took it home in 1984. What would it mean for a driver like Ricky, you think, to take it home 40 years removed from that?
Well, especially considering the offseason he's had as well, right? We've hinted at it. Ricky's medical business is his to tell and share for how he wants to do it, but he has had an offseason of trials and tribulations. And the fact that he is in the car 28 laps in and leading this is a feat into of its own, much less now with Clark in the 51. We had talked about if he had come up on the back of Curtis, how physical was he willing to be? Well, you see how physical he's willing to be with Dietz. He isn't exactly shoving him out of the way, but he is getting tapped every time in the corner coming through.
Well, that time that I mentioned, that oh so precious resource, is slowly running out. 20 to go at the line. It means you're 30 laps into this one. You can't let Ricky get away from you. A driver like Ricky will punish you if you let him even sniff clean air. You have to get by him in this traffic while you can.
Ricky's got to be hoping for a caution, you'd think, right? Now, granted, they've been able to get around the Superstock guys, but again, he has been following Fundin for, this group has been following Fundin for 15 laps now, thereabouts?
Ricky, I think, could be hoping for that caution. I know you really don't want it if you're the 51 or the 74. Despite the fact you'd bunch up, not only would you be next to each other, likely need to push your way past one of your teammates, but also Ricky then has open air in front of him.
Exactly. Yeah, you get that for Ricky. Not only does he get clean air, but he can breathe for a couple of seconds. He can sit there. He can relax. He doesn't have to be elbows up on the wheel. Although, again, 33 in and 17 to go, you're not seeing any telltale signs of fatigue. He's kind of riding around. He's managed this race very well, not stepping out of line or doing anything silly. Now, if Dietz can get around Fundin, it is going to be, and here it is. Now, Clark and Curtis are going to have to follow immediately, because if they get that slower car trapped in between them, that could be it.
That is it. Oh, contact between Fundin and the 676. Clark tries to shoot the gap. Contact between him and Fundin. And it looks like 676 will remain in control, as Fundin now right there with the 51. Clark, big shot.
Yeah, Fundin not happy.
And around goes Fundin.
Yeah, Curtis comes through and cleans it up. And Curtis knew he couldn't leave the 40 car in between him and Ryan, or else the top two would just rabbit from him and he'd have no chance. Now, here's Dietz clearing up and around Corbett. He'll make the pass, so teammate on teammate there, but second and third have created a little bit of distance between themselves and Curtis, and it's freed up in front of Ricky a bit to where now Dietz has added a little pad between himself and Clark.
Yeah, Clark is falling back, it looks like, after that contact. Gotta wonder if you might have snapped something when he met with the 40 of Fundin. In the meantime, though, Dietz has his sights set on Larson and Doug Wilkinson, two drivers he's battled over the years many a time. Dietz is going for number 5. Figure eight Nationals wins.
One for the thumb for Ricky as we are down to 11 laps to go, 39 in at this point. He has caught up to the back of Larson and Wilkinson, who are racing for position. And hey, good timing there. Larson gets the move on Wilkinson. That provides a path for Dietz. Now, Dietz does not want to get strung out on the outside of Wilkinson here, because if he does that, he could cede a bunch of that groom to Clark, but Clark not quick enough to catch and get closer to him. And so Ricky Dietz going to hold the lead and not give up any room, and now put a slower car between himself and Ryan Clark with single-digit laps to go this time by.
Maybe a slower car, but by no means an easy obstacle is Doug Wilkinson, driver of the number 35 tonight. Hopping back behind the wheel of an Outlaw. It's always cool to see him wheel and run around this track. As Dietz trying to find a way past Larson. You see Doug at the corner of the screen, and it looks like Ryan falling back a little bit further now.
Larson
Larson
pull wide.
up the track.
Yep, widen out of the way for Dietz. So Dietz moves forward and continues to pad his lead. Big pass there with 8 to go. Clark gets through. Curtis has got a path to get through as well, as time is running out on everybody else, and the sands in the hourglass are ticking down for potentially the 5th Figure 8 Nationals win for Ricky Dietz, and what a big one this would be.
Ryan Clark's left rear isn't looking too hot. That might explain why he's been falling back slowly.
We'll see if he can limp it home at this point.
Well, a huge gap between him and Curtis back to Dakota Wilkinson, who is running in that 4th place spot right now, but you see even clearer that time by the wheel almost hitting the ground now.
Things fading on the Clark car. Air pressure in the left rear. What we're watching, big checkup in the intersection, and there goes Clark taking the runner-up position. Sorry, Curtis taking the runner-up position from Clark. So Chris Curtis has freed himself for 2nd. Now the question is, where is Ricky Dietz, and can he run him down? And the answer is, Ricky gone.
I don't think 4 is enough to run down the survivor. Ricky has almost caught up to 4th place. That's Dakota Wilkinson right there, the 4th place car.
Following Smoke and Seth Funden around the racetrack, as Dietz will be in his ear saying, you got a big lead. Take her easy, Rick. Does he listen? That's a good question.
I doubt it.
Who cares? We're going out with 2 to go, and Dietz looking for the Figure 8 National win here in the Chain Lake Express Car Wash Outlaw Figure 8s, the BECU Figure 8 Nationals. He'll make the right-hand turn underneath both 4th place and the lap car of Funden, and this time by, we'll see the white flag.
And there it is. One more trip around for the survivor. Was 40 years ago we hosted the first Figure 8 Nationals. Vern Dietz was the name of the winner. Now, as he rolls through the intersection for the final time, he takes a hit. Doesn't even phase him. The survivor exits out of the left-hand corner, looks to JD in the infield, checkered in the air for the survivor. Ricky Dietz wins Figure 8 Nationals here in the Outlaw class.
Oh, and we're about to start burning this down. Look at him put the tire patch down and around. Ricky Dietz, Chris Curtis, Dakota Wilkinson, 1 through 3. It's a smoke show on the track, and we will head to victory lane to talk to him.
All right, first question. Dakota, did you know that Ryan had a tire down? You had a shot at 3rd with a few laps to go.
I only saw it in the final turn. I saw him going around. I saw smoke, and then I just saw him. I remembered, hey, he's the guy in front of me. Oh, he's the guy in front of me. Uh-oh.
And this race, typically longer than your normal ones. How challenging is that for you guys?
Well, I was expecting it to be a long, drawn-out fight to get up to the front, and then everyone just kind of took themselves out lap 2.
And who do you want to thank for helping you get up on the podium tonight?
I got a list. Hold on. I'd like to thank Pilchuck Heating, Cobalt Cycles, Art by Nature, Tony V's Garage, Mail Zone Auto License, A Wesco Septic, Walt Wood Co., Buzzin' Granite Falls, J&K Automotive, Pacific Northwest Forerunner Connections, Reppin' Welding and Rail, Omega Pizza and Pasta. And I'd like to thank my family, my dad, my mom, my sister, Mackenzie, don't know why, but I'll thank her, and everyone else that I got to race with tonight.
Let's give it a third place, Dakota Wilkinson.
All righty, Chris. This one you earned. It was a hard-fought battle. It was chaos behind you. You started up front, but you have Ricky and Ryan chasing you for so long. What's going through your mind when you see a teammate and then you see your Ricky?
Yeah, you know, I've been racing with these guys for a little while, and, you know, I thought starting on the front row there I was going to be able to run away a little bit, and, man, not the truth at all tonight. But definitely some huge car changes from this afternoon to tonight, and track got even slicker, and it usually doesn't do that. It usually tightens up, and it definitely didn't do that for me tonight.
Now, tonight, a big night, the 40th anniversary of Figure 8 Nationals, but I know you're looking forward to the future. There's more down the road. You ready to tackle the rest of this season?
Yep, for sure. You know, this Boney Brothers Racing NBQ Chassis team, we're ready to take it on. We got one more race here coming in August, I believe it is, and then we got Colorado coming up here in a couple weeks. We're looking really, really forward to that one. And state line, and we got championship night, and then we got California too, so really looking forward to it.
Well, don't forget 60. Who helps you get this car out here?
Oh man, I tell you, a whole bunch of people out here, you know, my dad, my wife, Bulldog Haven Northwest, Michael Leone Construction, TurboTech Powder Coating, MCA Creations, you know, Bud Barton's Glass, man, a whole bunch of people. This one goes to Jason Holton tonight.
Driver the number 74, second place tonight, Chris Curtis. I know that a night like this, a win like this, is so emotionally powerful. And I'm just going to give you the opportunity to say what you want.
I don't know that I can say everything that I'd like to say, because there's so much, you know. I've been fighting cancer for 5 months. Well, longer than that, but I've been fighting it for 5 months, and I just got done with my last radiation Monday, and there's no better way to celebrate beating cancer, kicking it, other than a Figure 8 Nationals win. And I owe it to all you guys, man, because you guys are what make me come back here, make me strive to stay alive and put on a show with you guys, because I absolutely love to do that. It's what I live for. And you know, I had people coming over from all over helping me. I built a roof ring with Mr. Jones here. He came over. It's been his hard-earned time. You know, I got Ryan Berg here with Tire Pros in the shop from Arlington. He's supported me. Dave has. My wife has. Or not my wife yet. Oh, damn it. Whoops, I shouldn't have said that. But my girlfriend Katie, thank you for putting up with my bull crap. I know I'm paying you, but I love you. Bobby Black, I love you too. My dad, Dad's here today. First time he's been here in 2 years. God, I'm so glad I got to win this for him. I love you guys all, and I hope to do this a lot more for you.
I just got one more thing for you. You mentioned your dad. 40 years ago, he won the first one, and you win the 40th. Got to feel pretty good, doesn't it?
Nothing, I can't feel any better. I can't even begin to tell you how I feel right now. I'm on cloud 9. I hope this doesn't come down for a couple days. Oh, hey, I have a shirt. I need all the kids to line up out there, because I'm going to toss this in the air and you guys can fight on it.
Your race.
This shirt is PTM, for Precision Traction Management by Augie Wozniak. And this is my guy right here. He's the guy that makes me go fast, keeps me calm, keeps me sane if there can be a sane.
Your race winner, driver of the number 676, Ricky Dietz.
Well, congratulations to Ricky Dietz, the survivor, and all of our Figure 8 Nationals winners here on Home Track Heroes today. And thank you, Derek Todoroff, for joining me. How much you love the Figure 8s. It's a good show. They really showed out quite well.
Oh, yeah. I'm happy they did.
So coming up next 2 weeks here on Home Track Heroes, you will get the Tire Pros Summer Showdown. Next Sunday, you'll get the Pro Late Model main event and more. The next time you guys can come out live to Evergreen Speedway is going to be on Saturday, the 27th, for the Granite Construction Wing Sprint Car Night. Come see the Wing Sprints, Superstock Figure 8s, and more. For Derek Todoroff, Griff with a great job editing today, Derek and all of the crew, my name is Caleb Hart. We'll see you next Sunday night here on Seattle 11 for more Home Track Heroes. Good night, everybody.
Thanks for watching Evergreen Speedway's Home Track Heroes on Seattle 11. Join us next week for more great racing from Evergreen Speedway.